I just watched an interview of the Senate President of Nigeria and what he said about poverty. Imagine this kind of mindset. And now the people they sign our policies with this. You're justifying why poverty is good and the whole country is in a mess. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. China, India, their population are bigger than Nigeria, like in the billions. And we're like 200 and something million. And we are the poverty capital of the world. And you're justifying the reason why Nigeria should enjoy the poverty or allow the poverty to go on. Eh? Listen to this interview and hear what he said about
yes,
poverty.
You cannot worship God in splendor. And that the best way to worship God is to worship God through self-sacrifice for all that. So the message is very clear that Nigerians should love one another and that poverty is not a crime and that poverty could sometimes be a virtue of God, and that whatever you have.
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, you are about to hear a critical warning from Peter Obi, and trust me, this is one video every Nigerian needs to see. He started by saying Nigeria is now ranked among the top 10 failing countries in the world, sitting dangerously close to war-torn nations like Afghanistan and Yemen. Imagine that, a country once called the giant of Africa, now collapsing by the day. Peter Obi went further, revealing that Nigeria has become the world capital of poverty even before COVID. With just 200 million people, Nigeria already had more people living in poverty than China and India combined. And those two countries have almost 3 billion people together. Just picture how shocking that is. But it didn't stop there. He exposed that unemployment in Nigeria is at 33%. And when you add underemployment, it climbs to 55%. Over half of our young people, the very ones meant to drive production, are doing absolutely nothing. No jobs, no hope, no future. He also revealed the staggering figure of 15 million out-of-school children, the highest in the world, and the one that Nigeria has now overtaken India in infant mortality. Stress levels are among the worst globally. Hunger is spreading fast, and people are spending almost all their salaries just to eat. Peter Obi didn't just stop at the problems. He warned about Nigeria's borrowing habit. Yes, every country borrows, but his concern is that Nigeria is borrowing recklessly and wasting the money instead of investing in production. He gave an example. In just 5 months, Nigeria earned over 1 trillion naira, but spent nearly all of it servicing debt, leaving almost nothing for the people. And if this continues, he warned, we will be using 98% of our revenue just to pay back loans. Guys, Obi compared Nigeria with countries like India, Vietnam, and even Bangladesh, countries that once suffered high poverty but used smart investment and loans to lift millions out. Meanwhile, Nigeria keeps borrowing but sinking deeper. He said clearly, 2023 and beyond is not just about politics, it is about fighting for the survival of the country. And finally, he assured Nigerians that the country can still be fixed, but only if resources are managed properly, waste is cut, and leaders invest in the right places. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
Our country is passing through a very difficult phase. This used to be a great country. Today, our country is classified among the failing countries of the world. We are now among 10 of the failing countries of the world. We're now classified as one of the most sterilized countries in the world. In fact, we're number 3 or number 4 after Afghanistan, Yemen, and the way it's going, we might soon overtake them. We are the world capital of poverty. Even before the COVID, Nigeria, a country of 200 million, had more people living in poverty than the 2 biggest countries of the world combined, China and India, that is about 2.8 billion. For 200 million, we have more people living in poverty than 2 of them combined before COVID. So you can imagine what it is after COVID. We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world today. At 33%, which is the unemployment. By the time you combine the underemployment, we're about 55. And worse still, we have about 60% of these are the young ones who are the greatest access of production and in their productive age, doing nothing. Out of school children, you're the highest in the world. Over 15 million. Forget about what anybody is telling you. Infant mortality today, we've just overtaken India, which they thought will overtake them in 5 years time, just overtaken them. In a stress level, we are now 148 over 152. Nigerians are stressed. Competitiveness, we're going down. Of course, you've seen perception, corruption, we're going down. You can go on, the list is endless. The hunger list now, we're number 98 out of 105. Nigerians have been classified as a country now where people spend over 100% of their wage, salary on feeding. Like, you can't, and it's getting worse. And anybody who thinks it's going to get better, forget it. This is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years. Because we're choosing not to do the right thing. And people will tell you, when they was talking about somebody who is granting loan and everything. There's nothing wrong with loan. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm a businessman. I'm a trader. That is my background. You live with loan. Loan is what has made nations. Every nation in the world is owing. Even Norway, that have the highest sovereign wealth fund of 1.4 trillion, is owing over 50% of their GDP in debt. So there's nothing wrong with loan. It's what you throw the loan at, what you use the loan, that makes all the difference. And I'll show you countries that have borrowed. But we have a crisis that because we're throwing away the money we're borrowing, it's not getting to a stage where we can't even service the loan. You approve it, you know the budget and everything. Last year alone in 2021, in the first 5 months of last year, as a nation, we earned 1.1 trillion 847 billion naira. We used 1 trillion 802 to service debts, remaining 45 billion for a nation of 200 million people. In a short while, we will not be using 98% of our revenue to service debt. We will need to borrow, which is what we are doing now, to service debts. And you're not generating revenue. And you often hear government people say, we don't have a borrowing problem, we have a revenue problem. You can't generate revenue when your people are poor. You're not going to tax poor people who are in the village doing nothing. Revenue is the function of productivity. The country is not productive. So you can't generate money. For me, my appeal is that 2023 is not about making the next person president or anything. It is about all of us fighting for our future. You're on top of the ladder. If this country collapses today, it will affect you more than it will affect those who will think that I belong. And it's collapsing. None of you can live here and go anywhere and be street sweepers. You can't. So we need to defend it. We need to do it. It happened to other nations. Other nations have removed their country from consumption to production. It's happened everywhere. Pulling people out of poverty has happened everywhere. I've been to at least over 30 countries that have pulled their people out of poverty. I just came back from Morocco. And I told Okube an interesting news this evening. I said, let me tell you, here people spend dollar. But I went to Morocco. I came back on Friday. I bought BTA. They put it in my card. And I got to Morocco and said, I want $1 cash for it. They said, no, you use our currency. I was just telling him, no other country does that. Where you spend another person's country in your own country. That shows the erosion of trust of your own economy. And I was telling him, you can't do it. I've been going to China, I've been everywhere. This country was a signatory to MDG in year 2000. China was a signatory to MDG. In 15 years, they put 435 million people out of poverty. China in 1990 had 95% of their population living under poverty. Today they have less than 2%. So is Vietnam. They had about 90-something% living in poverty. Today they have 1.6. So is Bangladesh. They're going down. We talked about loan. Approve the loan. But what is the loan being used for? I was in Bangladesh in 2010. And I studied what they used to borrow money and everything. Bangladesh, as 2010, had a debt. The economy then was $115 billion with a debt of $45 billion, which is 36% of their debt. Their per capita was just about $708, about $700 in 2010. As at that time, Nigerian GDP was 375. Our per capita was $2,250. And our debt then was under $8 billion. Today, we were owing about the same thing today. Our debt has moved. So in the past 10 years, we lost 10% of our per capita, and we borrowed about 7 to 10 times the amount we were owing then. So something is wrong. We threw away the money. It wasn't invested. It's not productive. It didn't help anybody. Bangladesh today have moved to a GDP of $335 billion with a per capita of $2,050. So they have moved 3 times their per capita. It's getting better. They're pulling people out of poverty. Go and check what they've been able to do over these years. And that's what I'm just pleading with you. Can we build a better Nigeria? It's not about politics. It's not about who becomes president or who becomes governor, who becomes this. We can make this country better. It can work. I'm a private businessman. You can check my background as a trader. I've been in the corporate world. I've been a chairman and director of several quoted companies in Nigeria. I've been a governor. And I can tell you, I've managed resources. And I know that this country, if properly managed, can turn around in 10 years and be on the path of growth. It's a great country. It has all it takes. All we need is to invest our resources in the right places, cut the cost and waste that is all over the place.
Do you know that the budget of Nigeria is like the budget of South African Education Ministry? Are you aware? That Education Ministry, not the whole country. Mention any other country of our size that have the kind of budget we have. Go and show me anywhere in the world. With the size we have and with the resources we have, mention any other country that have the size of budget we have. That will show you. It is from this template that you now begin to measure. So let nobody be deceived. When people are talking, don't listen. Go and check what is on ground before you start taking their words for what it is. They are sycophants. They want to praise Tinubu that he's doing so well. Meanwhile, the poverty level on ground, that Nigeria is now the world capital of poverty, world capital. They didn't see that that index, or they didn't see that report, Abi. So how can you be praising yourself when your country is hosting the highest number of poor people in the whole world? Not even China with their position.
But Barrister, you made mention of our budget. Now, initially, we know what we have, or what was, marked for 2025 budget to be at, I think, a little bit, 34 million or thereabout, but 34 trillion, I beg your pardon. But, with the fact that, some other agencies and ministry were able to generate more money, like FIRS, and even custom, the budget was, upgraded from what is supposed to be to 54.99 trillion naira. Isn't that a way to show that there is money in Nigeria?
Well, how is that? I said, other countries, how much is their budget? Even with the population, no, because you are looking at the population. What is the population of South Africa? Less than 60 million. Even New York City alone, New York City alone. Go and look at their budget before you start comparing notes. My dear, we are not there. Forget it. If we can even manage the budget as little as it is, maybe use it to build, more capital, use it to build more infrastructure and all that. It will help, but half of this money is going into private pockets at the end of the day by inflated contracts, by outright embezzlement. You and I know that. So why are you praising what is not?
The army is telling us that poverty is connected with this thing, and we cannot reduce insecurity or deal with it without doing something about poverty, and you are expanding the poverty class. Then what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? The reality of the matter is, if we don't hold this government accountable, if we don't speak out about these issues, if we bury our head in the sand and we act like the so-called opposition leaders, and we sit down and wait for 4 years from now, 2 years from now, how many Nigerians are going to be unalive before then? How many Nigerians are going to make it before then? Thank you so much, Lighthouse. We appreciate it. We have to speak out. We have to be outraged. The same way the Nigerian people were outraged at the allegation that Boko Haram was being sponsored by the United States. The same way the Nigerian people are outraged that the United States government was supporting the APC and Bola Tinubu and Buhari against Jonathan. We should be outraged that this government, after 20 months, has nothing to show for it. Nothing. The report is there. 40 farmers decided that they were going to go to the farm in Borno State. You know what their crime was? They wanted to go farming. They wandered into Boko Haram territory and they were unalived. The stories are there. Yet we have sycophants. We have Bola Tinubu sycophants that don't want to understand that the truth is the truth, the lie is the lie. You cannot tell me that insecurity is going down when every single measure, every single study, every single analysis, including NBS, is showing that insecurity is getting worse. Kidnappings are getting worse. Crime is getting worse because poverty, which is directly connected, is getting worse. Make it